Hello. Hello. It is Josh Bowe in the Dark Hole Closet today, coming to you live Sunday at about nearly 7 o'clock Texas time. The Mavericks regular season is over after a 132 to 97 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies. Um, the Mavericks punted on this game, did not play any of their regular rotation guys except for Daniel Gafford, Najee Marshall, Dante Exum. I mean, they played more than a handful, but no PJ Washington, no Derek Lively, no Anthony Davis. Most of the regulars didn't play much. Clearly, they needed to win, and they needed Sacramento to lose to the nothing to play for Phoenix Suns. So the Mavericks rightly bet on getting their guys some extra rest instead of playing them in a game that would not have mattered. Their bet paid off. The Kings beat the Suns by 11. So the Mavericks will be the 10th seed in the play-in. They will play the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento, Wednesday night. Then they will play the loser of the Golden State Warriors Memphis Grizzlies 7-8 matchup. So if you're a bet, if this goes to paper, if the Mavericks somehow find a way to win in Sacramento on Wednesday, they would most likely be playing Memphis in Memphis on Friday. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be upfront with y'all. I didn't watch the game. This stretch since post trade, and especially lately, has really tested how much me and Kirk can do this as a secondary gig. We both have full-time jobs. We both have families with young kids. Most of the people that you listen to podcasting about the NBA or blogging, that's either their full-time job, whether they have a full-time salary or it's their contractor and they're just kind of doing it for love of the game, or the commitments are not nearly the same. There's still some people like me and Kirk, but you do not see a lot of 35 and older podcasters and bloggers that aren't doing this as their primary source of income. So I was gonna be honest, and there was a part of me that just wanted to say, why even do a pod? Like, why? Like, we somehow had a recap. It's up on MavsMoneyball.com. Shout out to Matt Martinez for watching and then writing about this abomination of a game. But really, this was, no one's going to read the recap. No one's going to listen to this podcast. I mean, we really could have just not done anything, and it really wouldn't have mattered. But we're doing it. I'm here. Kirk is taking the day off because he's got full dad responsibilities. He could not step away. He's basically been busy all day today. I've been basically busy all day today as well, for the most part. Obviously not busy right now, but one of us has to do it. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, this game did not matter. The Mavericks punted, the Grizzlies punted. They both kind of were resigned to their fate. They're nothing to talk about. The only notable thing about this game is that Brandon Williams played, but he only played 7 minutes because he suffered a left oblique injury. Not too sure about the severity of that injury. He did not return. I assume it was out of abundance of caution. We'll see if he'll be available for Wednesday. I just checked Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News beat writer, Dallas Mavericks beat writer for the Dallas Morning News. He doesn't seem to have anything on his feed saying any updates there. So I don't know if Kid or if there was any post-game availability that discussed how severe they know Brandon Williams' injury is, but we'll see. Hopefully it's more precaution and he's able to play, because they're going to need him if they want to get through the play-in. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk quickly. I mean, I'm not going to go the full 20 minutes, but we could talk very briefly. The Mavericks will now, so if you're keeping track of this at home, they're going to be playing the play-in. They cannot get higher than the 8th seed as the 10th seed. So the best case scenario is, if you're someone who is a optimist, is the Mavericks will play the best team in the NBA in the first round, the Oklahoma City Thunder. The 68-14 Oklahoma City Thunder with the best point differential in the league, one of the best point differentials in league history. Fantastic team. One of the best regular seasons in the history of the NBA when you look at a lot of their advanced numbers. Very similar dominance to this what the Celtics did last season, and we all saw firsthand what the Celtics did in the playoffs, especially when they played the Mavericks in the finals. So presumably that would be a very difficult series for the Mavericks, to say the least. And the Mavericks have to win 2 straight road games against teams that are better than them to make it. The Mavericks would have to win at least 1 game against a team with a winning record, which I need to double check this. I don't think the Mavericks have not they've won 1 game with a team against a team with a winning record since February 13th. That was against the Detroit Pistons at home, and the Pistons are, I mean, they're good, but they're not. I don't know. They're in their Eastern Conference. It's not like they beat Denver or they beat Houston. Or Cleveland. Like nothing against Detroit, but that game felt really weird. But the Mavericks have 1 win against a team with a winning record since February 13th. So they would have to win at least one game to get to the 8th seed, because either the Golden State Warriors or the Memphis Grizzlies, they are both 48 and 34. So that is a winning record. The Mavericks have not played particularly well against any of these. I mean, they haven't played good against any team really, except unless they were a losing team. But against the Kings, it's not ideal. They are 0-3 against the Kings. First game, December 30th, they lost by 10 to Sacramento. Second game they played was the overtime game where Dinwiddie hit that buzzer beater. Well, not buzzer beater, but I think he hit it right at the end of the game for that winner in OT. 129-128 loss. Then the next game was the last game they played, absolute total blowout when the Mavericks had nobody, no Kyrie, no Anthony Davis. I don't think they even had PJ Washington. The Mavericks lost that game 122-98. So not really a good way to preview this, because the Mavericks haven't played the Kings without Kyrie Irving and with Anthony Davis. So the roster is very different. It'll be a very difficult game. The Kings are weird. Since they traded De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, they got back Zach LaVine. And he's been kind of weird fitting in. They got back DeMar DeRozan. They already had DeMar DeRozan. I apologize. They're bringing them back together if those two used to play in Chicago. But they've got a weird roster. They fired their coach, Mike Brown. They're not a threatening team, really. I mean, they're 40 and 42. LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are terrific scorers, and the Mavericks probably don't have enough perimeter defenders to handle that. Domantas Sabonis is a very good player, but you would hope Anthony Davis can at least match or exceed that. And then we'll go from there. The Mavericks have to play on the road, though, which is really not great. The Mavericks are 17 and 25 on the road this season. They will be underdogs for sure. If I had to expect, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Kings, but I don't see them winning against either the Grizzlies or the Warriors. Now, if the team still had Luka, the Mavericks have owned the Grizzlies since Luka's been on the team, but since Luka has been off the team, the Mavericks haven't played the Grizzlies very well. The Mavericks this season, I believe they are 1-4 against Memphis, with that 1 win coming when Luka was still on the team and playing. They won 121-116 back on December 3rd, but Luka was back. Since then, they have a 5-point loss on January 6th. They had a 11-point loss on March 7th. Again, that's without Kyrie, without Anthony Davis. And then, of course, they played tonight, which was a nothing game. So they won't be favored. They won't be favored. The 10th seed has not advanced out of the play-in since the NBA started the play-in. So realistically, the Mavericks season will end within the next week. We'll just see if it ends on Wednesday or if it ends on Friday. And if it doesn't, well, we got to cover a first-round series, which will be kind of interesting. we will see. The Mavericks and the Thunder. That's going to be a weird matchup because the Thunder are big. Beforehand, the Thunder weren't that big, so the Mavericks used their size and as an advantage with their centers, even when Luka was on the team. But now with Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, they can kind of counter the Mavericks' 2 big lineup with Anthony Davis and then one of their centers, either Gafford or Lively. So we'll see. That would be an interesting matchup for sure. But without Kyrie Irving, I mean, obviously the Mavericks don't have too good odds there. But we'll see what happens. Personally, I think they're going to beat the Kings and then lose in the next game in the play-in. I don't know why. I wouldn't surprise me if they lost to Sacramento on Wednesday. Nothing would surprise me, is really. The only thing that would surprise me is, I guess, if they beat the Thunder in the first round. But other than that, this team has been weird. And we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, 10 minutes. I can't talk anymore. I'm not talking about the game. Like it didn't matter. Players obviously didn't care. They got drilled. It was funny to see Spencer Dinwiddie play 36 minutes in this game and have a minus 38. He's been shockingly bad for this team for the last 2 weeks or so after he had a pretty good March. And I was about to write something about how good his March was and how he's kind of helping. And then since I had that thought, he's been really, really bad. Daniel Gafford was pretty good. In his 19 minutes, he had 20 points and 7 rebounds, but who cares? So I will see if myself and Kirk maybe we can preview the Kings game before we get to Wednesday. Maybe we could talk Tuesday night. Maybe we could talk tomorrow night. We'll see. But we're just trying to get to the finish line so we can cover the NBA draft. Hopefully the Mavericks don't trade the pick, so that'll at least be interesting for us to talk about. If you guys have noticed, my microphone quality has decreased exponentially over the last few weeks. It's because my normal podcasting microphone broke. I'm literally using the microphone attached to my headset right now. It is not a studio recording quality microphone, as you guys can tell. I wanted to replace it, but do not have the funds to purchase a new podcasting microphone at this time. And then my desire to do it is especially lowered when the Maverick season has kind of been flushed down the toilet, and we might not be talking as regularly once we get to the off season. Although I think me and Kirk will at least try to, maybe, I don't know if we'll do once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month, but we'll do something because we still have to record. Due to our, contractual obligations, we still have to do some type of recording and do some type of show. Just obviously won't be as frequent without games if the Mavericks don't make it out of the play-in. So maybe in the summer I will replace my microphone, but for right now I just don't. Hey honey, can I spend $200 that we don't have to talk, for this Mavericks job that no one's listening to, and doesn't even, is it really a return on investment? That's not an easy conversation to have. So I'll probably wait. You guys will have to put up with a crappy microphone until we get maybe later in the summer. So we'll see. So yeah, Mavericks will play Wednesday night, ESPN, 9:00 Central, against the Sacramento Kings. Kings, I think, got through their game healthy, even though they played a decent amount. They played pretty much everyone. So the Kings should be at relatively full strength. And the Mavericks, seriously, that Brandon Williams injury, if he cannot play and Spencer Dinwiddie has to play a ton of guard minutes, that is huge. Brandon Williams, you could argue, has been the Mavericks' best guard over the last 3 weeks. I'm not even kidding. Even without him playing in some of those games because of his two-way eligibility. So we will be back. Wednesday. We will be back. We'll try to be back before Wednesday. Maybe we can preview the Kings game a little bit. And then if they win, maybe preview the next game a little bit. And then we'll definitely be back after the Wednesday night game against the Kings, where we'll either be kind of talking about the game and eulogizing the season, or we'll be talking about their win and the matchup against either the Memphis Grizzlies or the Golden State Warriors. So I'm going to get out of here. I got to help get my kid to bed, feed him dinner, all that good stuff. I appreciate anyone listening to this. You are an absolute sicko. It says we have 403 viewers. 384 of them are on Twitter, which I don't think are real. But 20 of you are on YouTube, and the YouTube ones are pretty real. Like, there should not be 20 people listening to me right now. That is ridiculous. So I appreciate the support. Really do. Me and Kirk have appreciated it. All kind words since the trade, because you guys understand that this has not been fun or easy for us lately. So we do. I don't respond very well to DMs or messages on Twitter because I just don't log in as much as I used to. So, but I do eventually see them, and if I don't respond, just appreciate every nice comment that you guys have been leaving and show support for us as we try to navigate the post Luka era. So that'll be it for me. Josh Bowe, Pod Maverick. Go to MavsMoneyball.com. We'll have more coverage about this. We won't have more coverage about this game, but we'll presumably have a preview up for the Sacramento Kings game shortly, and we will talk after then. So you guys take care. We'll see ya. Bye.